And here's an example. So several years ago, before the restraining order kicked in, I was stalking alums on LinkedIn, where I found somebody who was from our program. He's our next speaker, is Rahul Roy. And I reached out to him and I said, well, geez, where have you been? And he said, I live on Orrington. He lived 3 blocks from us and we didn't know where he was. Rahul Roy, are you out there? Who are you? Where are you? Tell us your Don story.
I think I'm unmuted, right?
You are. Let's hear it.
Firstly, Heidi, so lovely to see your face after all these years. So I'm Rahul Roy. I was of the last program, the last MSA before we converted to IMC, so class of 91. And it struck me when I was thinking about today it was 30 years ago to this month that we came to Evanston from India. And to speak for a few minutes for Don and to see all your faces is really amazing. And I can see Andrea Liss's face here. There's amazing connections. So we're still in Evanston. Probably because of Don, I'm still in advertising 30 years later because I'm too terrified to disappoint him. So, and my wife had the luck and privilege of working for Heidi and Don at Agora for a few months while we were broke, fresh off the boat Indian students just trying to keep it together in Evanston. So we have more to thank the Schultz than just the fact that I took his ad decisions class, which terrified the shit out of me. So my story is actually a really simple one, and Jim knows the stories, but I'm going to repeat it because it is so perfectly Don. I think it was the 3rd week. So probably literally this week, 30 years ago, I had kind of bungled my way through the first set of classes. And I had worked in advertising a little bit in India, so I kind of knew the ropes, but I was too scared to speak in class because all of you, confident Americans would just like say whatever you wanted to say, but I'd weakly have my hand up and say, excuse me, sir, and no one would listen to me. And, Don really didn't give a shit. He was just waiting for someone to answer the question. But my first 2 papers, he actually graded me pretty well on. And then I wasn't saying anything in class. And there was some class that there was an oral presentation and I just said, I'm keeping my mouth shut because everyone else speaks much better than I do. And in that booming voice of his, and you all, come on, we all remember him. He was larger than life. And at that day, of course, he had this hat on that to me looked like a Texas 10-gallon. I think it was actually just a straw hat, but it looked really big. And that Oklahoma accent to me sounded straight out of Texas. And I wasn't answering. And he said, Mr. Roy, will you answer the goddamn question? And don't give me any of that English is my second language crap, because I know you know these answers. I spoke in every class. It's the only class I got an A in because I was too scared not to do well. So we never stayed in touch. He's been enormously influential. I promise you all, I still love advertising because of the clarity Don gave me in his classes, his strategic insight, his kindness. He scared me into being good at what I do. And I will never forget that. So thank you all.
Thank you. And by the way, a blanket apology to all of you from Oklahoma to India for mispronouncing your name. I'm burdened with a New York Irish Catholic Democratic background. I'm trying to overcome it. Just this week, I think I'm slowly figuring out that all these years I've been pronouncing BJ's name wrong because it's the J. So apologies to the 97% of humanity who doesn't look like me.